How are you doing today?
I'm doing actually very great.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
Good. How did you and I meet today? How did we meet?
I was just in a 24-hour fitness gym,
Yep.
played basketball, and you just came along and said hi.
Absolutely. So I asked you to do an interview with us today. Do you remember the topics that we're going to kind of cover?
I kind of have a glimpse, but not really.
Okay. So we're going to talk about feet,
Mhm.
mental health, and reflexology, and like how they connect. So this is an impromptu interview. You had no idea I was coming today. We don't know each other.
Oh, no.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts from that aspect, like the fact that like you didn't have any idea this was going to happen today, but you still said yes. How does that work for you?
Because I'm kind of, in a similar situation when you want to bring out some content out there, when you have a message and, want to share a word. It's these days not that easy. Like people are very much locked up and mostly they kind of look strange to you when you come up like and ask you something. And we're so focused in our own bubble.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, somehow I felt like, yeah, why not? Like,
That's dope. That's dope. And I like you said, like with content creators, I try to do the same thing. If somebody stops me, can I ask you a couple questions? I'm like, sure, why not? Like, you know the struggle of like how that is sometimes. Absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
So let me ask you this: when you hear the word feet, what's the first thing you think about? Like, what goes through your mind?
Feet. Without them, I once have broken my left feet.
Okay.
So I know how precious they are and how
Absolutely.
everything changes right away when one of them is not functioning in the way that we don't even think about. We just stand up and think, yeah, they have to work.
Yep.
So it's funny that you just come up with that because I'm a person who is very much taking a lot of care about it, because the funny thing is the doctors back then said, because how my left feet, how the structure is, he said the feet, when you keep on doing sports, because I do a lot of sports,
Yep.
it will consistently break again. And I was like, I can't believe that, because I'm an athlete. I
Yeah.
love to think about my body, how muscles connected, and how, everything makes sense. I was like, there are so many muscles in my feet. So how can I especially strengthen them?
Absolutely.
Of course, we all of us, we have weak spots, but there is always a way to kind of to figure out how can I train my body to give them a support where you maybe weak at one position.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm actually taking a lot of care about them. And since I had the broken foot, I know it's nothing which is just given.
Absolutely.
It's a privilege to have healthy feet.
Absolutely. And like, and I'll tell you real quick, like I've had sprained ankles. I've never broken anything.
Yeah.
But just even a sprained ankle, I had one earlier last year where I literally, and it was bad. It was like literally like I stopped and couldn't put pressure on it, and like it took a couple of days. Like I couldn't even like walk to the bathroom. Like it was that bad.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it was just a sprain. It was like a high ankle sprain, but it was pretty bad. But like even like you said, just in that moment, like thinking like, damn, like I do this every day. I go like walk here to there, and like I can't do that right now. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true.
So we're gonna ask you a couple questions and a bit about feet, and you just tell me like how you feel about that. Okay. What about when you think about like mental health, and what goes through your mind immediately?
A topic that finally gets a little bit more attention. But we are still just at the beginning, and it's very, very important to talk about that, because how these days, how things changed. And this is so important because sometimes, think of the younger generation. We are born in I would take myself out of that because I literally grew up without that. You are born in something what for them looks so normal. All this social media, all these how we connected with everything. With Google, think of by just you have something on your mind and you're not quite sure. You don't know the direction. You don't know where to go to in a new country. You just can Google it and you find an answer.
Instantly.
And back then, but these people are still with us who grew up and didn't have that at all.
Yep.
And to kind of to connect these two generations who kind of like the worries, because they're thinking like, what do they complain about? They have it so much better. They're like, oh, and they're the ones who even like destroyed the world when it comes to like, all the talking about the, what's the word for how the climate changed? Is it climate?
You're talking about, I know what you're talking
and the
about.
older generation is responsible for what we are in right now.
Correct.
Global
warming is what
global
you're
warming.
about.
This is where I'm actually. So and there's so much things where we don't talk about that are actually going through our mind, what worries us, and think like, oh, you're not allowed to complain. You're in a better situation now. We are so much in situation that we think like, I'm not allowed to come up with these feelings that I actually have. And so many of us have, because the world is moving so quickly and everything. You always just see, oh, look at the pretty life that this person has over there, and he's having this, and look how pretty she is and he is. And I don't feel like I can keep up with this pace that we are in right now. And it's just like you stand up every day and you feel like, oh my God, how can I deal with this pace and this pressure, and feeling like I'm never smart enough, I'm never pretty enough, I'm never good enough, and I can't keep up with this pace. And and this is why it's so important to speak up, because then you will find out that mostly all of us have the same worries,
same feelings.
Yes. And then to figure out, how can I change the perspective on things? Because it's all about, and it's why, because you find someone sitting here in front of you who's very very positive. Because it's all, this picture, when it comes to the glass, is it half full or half empty? It's always, how do you make up your mind? How do you see the glass? How do you choose the situation? For me, I 100%, I always take this route, thinking of every situation. You always will go through something that's not nice, or it's hard, it's not perfect. But why do we think in a bad way about when something goes wrong? Because when something goes wrong, it just shows us at the end, okay, maybe the way how I approached it wasn't right. So I learned something out of it, and then I will change it, doing it different. And at the end, it's not something bad that happened. It's just something that I learned something out of it. And then it's like, okay, good. Thank you. I got an advice now, and I will do it now the next time different. And it's at the end, because there are some people always like, oh, why this is always happening to me? All of us, we always happen, like, this shit happens to us. But it's always, how do you look at it, and how do you decide to make the best out of it? And then when you realize, okay, no, this is not something bad happening to me, it's just a learning, and I will do it the next time better. And then it doesn't come up as a heavy burden on you, like I don't know. So I 100% can say, of course, sometimes like I feel like overwhelmed, but how can I ever deal with that? This is so much pressure. But then I tell myself, like, okay, just live day by day. And every day. And what do we see at the end of the day? It always goes on. Like, we always somehow will find a solution.
Every single time.
So why should I worry about something in a week when it won't even happen at the end like that? So I invested a lot of energy by worrying, and at the end it didn't happen that way.
Absolutely.
So just trying to live day by day, see the good stuff, because this is the fun part, Every day it's like so much more nice things, but we focus about this little tiny which goes wrong.
And we allow that to like really impact us a lot. Absolutely. Yeah, you're so right. Cool. Can I ask you a couple questions about how like these three topics are going to tie in together, and mental health will be like at the center of that. Reflexology was the other one that I kind of talked about. Have you ever heard of that before?
Like reflexes about what?
Reflexology. So it's you've heard of that before?
I'm not quite sure. For all those people out here, I'm German, so if I see if I even say some weird things, it's not because I'm, it's just I'm not quite sure. I'm just not quite sure if I understand the word 100% right. So it's
I'm gonna describe it to you. And you just tell me like after once I get there. Yeah, I've heard of that before or not. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's get to the first question. What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be something weird, but other people might look at what you do as like, oh, that's kind of odd. You have anything like that?
Oh, this happens actually to me all the time. Because I'm quite lucky that I look very much like a girl. But my whole life, what I think what's cool and what I approach by choosing for a job or my hobbies, and it's not girly like at all.
I see.
So people,
you got a little tomboy in you.
Yeah. So people consistently tell me like, you're weird. It's like, and it's so interesting. I had to get to a certain age to figure out, because back then I was always like, I have to decide. Okay, then I'm this kind of the tomboy kind of girl. And now I'm this girly girl, and I was like, no, I can be both
You
in
can
one
be both,
person.
absolutely.
And it's not, but these days we come up with so quickly, we want to put people in a jar, we want to know who's actually sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
And then we make up our mind about someone, and but for me those pictures doesn't fit, because it's always like,
Yeah.
oh, she looks like this, or she does this, but she's actually this, like,
Yeah.
so yes, actually, people tell me that very often I'm weird.
Oh wow. And I get it. Like, it happens all the time. I love anime. As you
Yeah.
can see with my shirt.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
sometimes people say you're an adult and you like anime. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, that's like,
I
I
feel
like
that.
it though. That's all that matters.
I feel that.
In terms of like dealing with stress and anxiety,
Mm.
what are some things you do to counteract like emotions like that when you start to feel them?
Big thing, big question. Just who said that actually? It was, oh my god, it was a documentary from Giannis Antetokounmpo, the
Nice.
basketball player from Milwaukee Bucks. He, for everyone out there, I just can recommend it to watch it. He was talking about that, and he was like, when you're afraid in a situation or you're in fear, this is actually the feeling that why do you have this emotion in that
Yeah.
moment? It's not real. The fear is not real. There's the situation in front of you. It's not like, oh, here I am. You have to be in fear.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that my brain comes up with to decide I'm react. That's the reaction that I have when I look at the problem. And he's like, I just tell that to myself, like, it's actually not real. The
That part.
fear is not
Fear
real.
is not real.
And for me, this is such a game changer after, first of all, that I tell myself, okay, this is actually not real.
Yeah.
But when I still feel, so 2 more points. First of all, when I'm still very much excited or in fear,
Yeah.
I realize, okay, when my body reacts like that, then it just kind of shows this is actually important to me. Because when it wouldn't be
care
important,
about it,
yes,
yeah.
I care. Otherwise, why I should like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is then a good point. And then the second is like, even if I will fail,
Yeah.
even if I, again, what I just said before,
Yeah.
at the end, I just know, even, okay, I won't die after that. It's not like my family will let go of me. My friends, oh, what is wrong with
It's not
her?
the end of the
It's
world.
not the end of the world. And at the end, I will just learn something out of it again when I fail.
Absolutely.
And this is crazy. And this is something what when you, I'm trying to go deeper and understanding our brain.
Feel free.
No, yeah, because it's so interesting, because when you try to understand your brain better,
Yeah.
how there's neurons,
Yeah.
how much we produce, that's decides about how much do you use them through the day. And as more as we get into new situations and challenge ourselves to deal with them, our brain realizes at the evening when you go to bed, oh wow, this was actually tough today. Maybe I should produce more of them.
Yeah.
And the next day,
It'll
the
be
stress
easier.
situation, it's easier. And you don't get quicker in like, oh, I'm full of fear.
Yeah.
And I realized I need to put myself into situations which are new, which are kind of like bringing up fear. I'm excited. I don't know if I can deal with it. And at the end, keep on telling me those 3 things that I just said earlier. You realize, wow. And this is the moment where it steps in that you feel that you grow mentally. Also from the spot that this part doesn't kick. It's not that you're still nervous, but it's not like overwhelming you in fear.
Correct.
And the crazy thing is, every time when you go to bed and your brain realizes, wait, we knew this feeling, but we figured out, we made it, we accomplished it.
Correct.
And the next day you will produce more neurons and you get more easy on stress, because the stress level will won't build up so quickly.
Yeah.
And even there's the 2 different kind of stresses. There's like the positive and the negative.
Yeah.
And your body will put that stress in a positive way. And it's crazy, because again, it won't make you like fearful. It's more like, yes, nice, I know it, this is tough, and this is why,
And
this
it's
is
okay though. Yeah.
yes,
That's tough.
and this is so interesting, because people keep on asking me, oh, why you're so brave. I never will like that.
Yeah.
It's something that in every one of us has that inside of him. It's about, again, you need to put these memories in that moment that you make through the day and when you put them in a context and positive feelings, and
Yeah.
it's about how you look at it,
Yeah.
your brain will remember that, puts that back in his, all these memories we have in our brain in a positive version, and the next time it's like, man, I feel good about it, even though
Absolutely.
I'm afraid, but it's
part.
now in a good way.
Absolutely, because it's developing, right? It's almost like when you
Yes.
play basketball, right? You don't
Yes.
start off knowing how to do everything, but
Yeah.
over time you develop skills and you work on it, and it gets easier, like you said.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit into some other questions.
Yes.
All right. How do you feel about your feet? What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about them? Do you like your feet, or you don't like your feet? How do you feel?
I since because of the broken feet, I appreciate them like crazy, like
it.
for real. Like for me, they're the biggest blessing. I take a lot of care when I do like my sports with all the mobility and stretching part,
Yep.
and I always start with my feet
I love that.
because you figure out when you this little form, they're like these tiny foam rollers, and think of the whole day you stand on your feet, and we don't really give it back to them what we take advantage of.
Very true.
And when you kind of take out the stress by like foam rolling them, it's crazy to see the difference and the impact. So I have to say, actually, yeah, I start with that every day, and that's why I think I'm very thankful. And I think we should take more care of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I use a golf ball and a tennis ball, like,
Which
it
is
kinda does
also
the same
very
thing,
nice.
yeah, but
Yes,
it's
yes.
really gets
Yes,
in there
get
to like those
into it.
areas that we don't pay attention to.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you ever received compliments from anybody about your feet? Has anybody ever said to you, "I think you have nice feet"?
You know what's funny?
Uh,
I'm a little bit active on Instagram. Like not big. I
Yeah.
just use it these days because I'm a journalist, and as a journalist, I also do print media. I'm a writer,
Yeah.
and sometimes I have to put out there some commercial like, oh, buy the newspaper. I'm
Yeah.
kind of old fashioned. So it's so funny because obviously when you do social media as a woman, you get sometimes funny messages, and you will laugh, but people, the most often question from the weird parts are like, can you send me pictures of your feet?
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Have you ever done that? Because you did say about trying things. So now, have you ever been like, why not?
no, actually no.
So that's still one that you can't get over that one yet.
No, I this is too weird for
Got it.
even though I'm a weird person.
Got
but,
it. Got it.
Yeah, but no, didn't do that till now.
Got it. All right, cool. Let me ask you this. In terms of pedicures, how often do you get pedicures?
Never. Yes. As you can see, I do a lot of sports.
Yeah, so you get a lot of
a lot of
stuff.
activity.
Absolutely.
This where the steps in again where we just talked about. I'm not a girly girl. Like, I actually I think I did it like 5 times in my life to do like a pedicure. I actually kind of do enjoy it in that moment, and was just on vacation. Like, oh, maybe I could
Why not?
why not?
Yeah.
Treat yourself. But I never think about it. Like, I do my feet by myself, just as much as they still look good, because I still want that they look not
presentable
nasty,
things. Yeah.
like.
Like, I don't want nobody looking at me in open toe shoes and they're like, what's going on?
Yeah. But actually, I don't really care. Like, it's not like they need to be functional, they need to be healthy, and
As
they
long as
need
they
to
work, they
be,
get you where
and
you
they
need to go.
need to look nice, but not like, oh my god, I need the newest nail polish, or there's no dead skin
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
That was
yeah.
my next question. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before? Like, when you go see
I
a-
did. I do actually, because my sister-in-law, she has like a cosmetic studio, a beauty studio. She actually does that. I still don't go there.
There you go. She's like,
So
I'm
I
not
know.
even going there.
Yeah, so I actually heard about that because I think she's even doing that. I don't know, because I know that you have like an extra license for that, doing this stuff. Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
the cleanest possible like pedicure
Yeah,
you can get.
yeah.
And they don't really focus on. It's not about the polishes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's more about
it's just-
the health of the foot.
Yes,
right? Taking care of that.
yes.
Absolutely.
So 100% heard about that.
Got it.
But I never needed it. Like, luckily I've, yeah.
How often do you wear open toe shoes?
Oh, most like it's actually funny that I wear today sneakers
Yeah.
because
And
mostly
she's down with sneakers. Right? She was playing
yeah.
basketball, so basketball shoes for all hoopers. We already know you got the hooping
The
shoes.
Kyries,
Okay.
which
And
are these days precious because
absolutely.
Kyrie of what all
He's
happened.
he's in a new he's in a new
He's
brand now.
new with the Chinese.
Absolutely.
So this and they're one of the most comfiest ones.
Absolutely.
Um,
But yeah, you always have the shoes that you hoop in. These are only for the court. And then you got the shoes that you
yeah,
walk around in. You
that's
can't wear these outside. All
that's
right.
true. That's true. So I actually try to wear as much barefoot as possible because even if you wear socks, it's a difference, and it's so important to use all of your muscles
Very much
to have
so.
strong feet. So I try to walk as much as barefoot as possible,
Absolutely.
and I mostly wear slides. So
Oh,
I
okay.
actually don't like sneakers. I love sneakers,
Yeah.
but I just wear them mostly for work because I don't like how the foot. And this is also one big thing.
Yeah.
So you got the right person with it because actually
Yeah.
my brother-in-law,
Uh-huh.
he is a sports. He did his doctors in that to do research is about when you have these how do you call that when you have these insoles which are
Okay.
made up like signature insoles just
I
for
know
you.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They fit them to your feet.
Yes, yes. And he was
Orthotics.
yes, and he was studying about how much can you impact your brain, how much is it changing when you put different spots on your feet to trigger them
Correct.
with insoles and all that. So I'm very much aware about how the wrong sneakers can affect your
Ooh.
walking and all that. And the biggest mistake was mostly women do because we don't want to wear big shoes because our feet look too big,
Correct.
to wear them too small. And when our like the big toes tuck too
Yeah,
close together,
like
like
how you just worded it.
yeah, this is so unhealthy. And also
That's why you got bunions. That's what that is. Like
yes,
bunions.
yes, and also when you wear too often the shoes, also when you work out, that's also important for some workouts to leave the shoes off. You don't train all the muscles because we're stabilizing the foot, and
That
then
part.
yeah, we take this part away the where we use all the muscles, and because of all of that, I try not to wear them too often.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And you talked about earthing and grounding. You've heard of that before.
Yes.
And like the benefits of like being able to stand out in grass and dirt and sand.
Yes.
And like how it can like benefit you, like creates good circulation in the body. It promotes good sleep. It's something I've heard one lady who I interviewed, she said that she did something to her back. I think she said she broke her back, and then she said she couldn't afford to get like the rehab. So what she did was she literally just went out every day and stood in the grass.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
literally like over time, like her back just started to feel better, and she was like,
Yeah.
she just took that time as time to like really focus on that. So really
Yeah.
some benefits to that, like going
Yeah.
out and doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
And this is also running barefoot in the sand.
Yes.
This is the best thing you can do for your feet health.
Yeah.
And the thing is that so people like because we mostly go too fast and too extreme about
Yeah.
things, and then it's like okay, they figure out I heard this is good, and they go right away like for 5 miles, and then they wonder why do I have everywhere blisters, my feet hurt, like this is bad.
Yeah.
It's such a new movement in
Correct.
in the beginning for your feet, and such a hard challenging thing. And when you start with that, because it's a good thing to
Yeah.
start with, start slowly and not right
Yeah.
away running like
It's
5
just
6 7
conditioning,
miles.
basically.
Yeah,
Like, you can't
but
just go like you said, just jump out there 5 miles. Like,
yes, but one of the best things that you could do for your health, and also because of now it goes even deeper, because of our phones, the Wi-Fi, the
Yeah.
Bluetooth, all these waves that these electric stuff like
Yeah.
produce.
Yeah.
We have so much because we made of 80 to 85% of water, and water is the best transportation for everything.
Correct.
Like, and so we have all these stuff that kind of it's hard for me to say it in English impacts us.
Uh-huh.
And when we are, that's again why it's so important to be barefoot. When we stand on the grass barefoot,
Yeah.
we kind of let go of this energy. So because it's like
Yeah.
a releasing point.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so important because of everything that we kind of go through life with
Man.
all these waves and all these Bluetooth stuff. So good. Actually, that girl did the right thing to start her day like that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So now, in this moment right now, can we see what your feet look like?
Are you? No, what?
For you too. Can we see what your feet look like?
They look. I don't know. You want to see my feet?
If we can.
Oh la la.
Oh la la.
Oh la
All
la.
right. So what size do you wear first?
39. German. Like a 7? Like a 7?
7.5.
Wow, I didn't know that. There we
Your
go.
feet look nice. All right.
Ah,
All
I
right,
try.
Can we see the other one? 7.5. You look nice. Yeah. I like the purple. Is that like a
Is it
lilac
purple?
type color?
Uh.
All right. Cool. If I can have you just put them down flat right here. Just like set your feet like this. Cool. And it looks like your toes, they go from... Okay, your 3 toes right here, they're about the same size. So I don't know if you know this, but there's like different types of toe alignments that they have. Have you ever seen like the charts
Yeah.
that they have online? So what you have, your toe alignment is the Roman.
Okay.
Roman toe alignment. If your second toe was longer, that's called a Greek toe.
Okay.
And if your bigger toe was longer and all the other toes were going down in a descending order, that's called an Egyptian toe alignment. So yeah,
Okay.
you have the Roman.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. I never heard
You never
that.
knew that, right?
No, this is something
And
totally
there's all
new.
kinds of benefits to
No.
knowing about that stuff
Yeah.
because it can help you out
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
to like picking shoes and stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely. Cool. Now, if I can I have you just stand out like this? Straight?
Wait, like what? Straight?
out? Yeah. And then toes up like this?
Oh, they look bad.
No, you're fine. Toes up? Okay. And so let me ask you this because, like, stepping out of your comfort zone, and then leave your feet out. We're going to go through a couple more exercises. But stepping out of your comfort zone, we asked you, could you see what your feet look like? You were like, but then you did it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? How are you feeling right now?
Kind of bad.
Kind of bad. So why bad though?
What? But what you say? Why?
Why are you feeling bad? You said
Because their look not as
your feet look
people
nice.
think they should be
Your
taken
feet
care
look
of.
nice. Don't worry about it. So let me kind of give you like
Yeah.
like what got me started with my channel and like why I'm
Yeah.
asking you these questions and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So during quarantine, I was watching another guy's channel and he was talking about exposure therapy. You've heard of that before?
Kind of, yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like for
yeah.
people who feel uncomfortable like in certain situations or making decisions.
Yeah.
They oftentimes will retreat instead of like moving forward because they're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. So as opposed to making a decision, I'm just going to go this way.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, that's me. I'm an overthinker. Like
Uh-huh.
I will look at certain situations and I'll just overthink it. And before I know it, the situation's already gone. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to get better at like making decisions. And so I was like, man, like had an idea. During the time, like during quarantine, like a lot of women were getting into foot modeling. That was a thing, right?
Ah, okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, what if I took the idea of exposure therapy and women who I meet like impromptu, just randomly, we didn't know each other or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I ask them these questions and we talk about this and we have a deep discussion. What would their thoughts be? Are they comfortable with going through like the process, or do they get to a certain point where they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is getting kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we kind of test that because it's like a social experiment in a way, just to see who's more open, who's not open, and that's kind of where we end up.
Ah,
what are your
that's
thoughts
funny.
about that? Like kind of like going out and doing that, and what the challenge is about? How do you feel about that?
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting that we, what just comes up right now to me, it's like, again, the feeling that we always think we need to be perfect.
Yes.
We need to be in every way, or what could other ones think?
That
Again,
part. That
because
part.
at the end, I'm fine with my feet. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is my problem?
Yeah.
My problem is like, oh my God, what
You don't know
could
what other
other
people are
ones
gonna
think?
think.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
might
yeah.
say like, I don't know
Why
that.
she's not taking care about this or that, or like, I mean, this is something that we have to deal the whole time with. Like me, I'm being a woman in a man's industry.
Correct.
I consistently get judged, and that everything that I do.
Yeah.
And it's again just because I couldn't prepare myself.
That part.
We want to be prepared.
And we're like, then we get nervous
and
and we
it's
start
like,
to overthink
yeah. And then again, you feel like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
But also, I have to be honest, also because I know I get always these questions, and I know that they're like strangers, like, what is this thing with feet? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, for real, like, I don't get it.
Well, I think it's like any. I didn't get a chance to ask you this question, but I always ask this question, right? What are your common compliments that you get? Like if somebody compliments you physically, is it about your eyes? Is it your hair?
Hair mostly.
Mostly your hair, right? If somebody was into hair and they complimented you on that, but you didn't know it, how would you feel?
Yeah,
You would
because
feel
I'm used
normal,
to it.
right?
Yeah,
You're used to
it's
it.
normal.
But
I'm
if
used to
somebody
it.
compliments you about your feet or they say something about your feet, because
Yeah.
it's uncommon, we automatically start to think,
Yeah.
oh, that's weird. Or
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
odd. But it's like it's a part of you. It's a part of your body. So like if somebody compliments you on that and they're saying something nice, right? Compliments are designed to make us feel good. So why not take the compliment and be like, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And keep moving. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I try to create on my channel, like more of the positivity behind it. Like it doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like and to hopefully create a good experience.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Cool.
100%, 100%.
All right, let's talk about
Yeah.
reflexology. Okay, and then we'll let you get up out of here. So reflexology, it's about the pressure points you have in your hands and your feet. Those pressure points like connect to different parts of your body, so that when you go get like massages, when you do acupuncture, when you do acupressure, it can alleviate tension to various parts of your body. So there's often people who have migraines. There's a portion of your hands and your feet you can massage that alleviates that tension that you feel in that moment.
Yeah.
There's a part for your stomach, for your lungs, like all over. It's like, to me, like the greatest thing about the body to be able to have all these different things that the body can do by using another part. Absolutely.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
have you heard of reflexology? Does that
Yes,
sound
yes,
familiar?
yes. I'm very
Absolutely.
also again quite known about this.
There it is. There it is. So usually when we get to reflexology, I
Yeah.
like to ask about sensitivity. How ticklish do you tend to be?
Not that much.
Not that much.
It's just it depends when the situation's already funny and you're kind of in a laughing mood. Then with someone but
Then it's a little bit more sensitive.
Then a little bit, but so from right now, right away, no, not really. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we test the sensitivity?
Yeah.
I'm gonna use a tool, and then we'll see like how sensitive you are. Is that fine?
Yeah,
Alright,
sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's also when you get a feet massage.
Yeah.
Some people are like can't do that because it tingles them. Like, oh my god,
Yes.
I love it. Like,
So when I go out, that's the information I give, because there are, like you said, to your point, there's a lot of people who feel super sensitive about that, and that's why
Yeah.
some people don't get pedicures. They're like,
yeah.
when I go, like it like tickles so much that like you know, I can't sit there through it.
Yeah,
so I try to
yeah.
give that information out.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Alright.
no,
Cool.
and
So
not at all.
Turn a little bit more this way at your feet, and then feet straight up. All right, cool. I'm gonna start with your right. Tell me where you feel it at the most, and then I want you to tell me which foot is most sensitive. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then where do you feel it at the most? So there's a little ticklish. I can tell that you're like just moving just a bit. Where do you feel it at the most? The top, middle? Is it the middle or the bottom?
The top.
The top part. Okay, cool. What do you say the scale is? 1 out of 10.
From like 10 is very ticklish.
10 is very ticklish.
3.
3.
maybe.
Okay, so not too bad. Not
Yeah,
too bad.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's try your left. Tell me if this one's worse. 1, 2, 3. All right. Oh, this one's more sensitive for sure. Like, what? How ticklish is this one? How much would you say?
This is like a
This one's definitely higher.
4 or 5.
So it's a 4 or 5. Okay. Here's what I want you to try to do. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to be less ticklish in those moments. Okay. Wiggle your toes while I'm doing it, and tell me if you feel it more or less. Just move your toes. Do you feel it more or less?
Yeah, less.
Less. You know why?
Because I'm focusing on something else.
That part, right?
Yeah.
So also, like, you're sending signals.
Yeah.
Do this, so it's a distraction, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, because you're doing this, you're creating energy, and
Yeah.
I'm applying energy, so it cancels each other.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Let's try your left. You're more ticklish here. Is it less?
Way less.
Way
yeah.
less, like you could barely
Yeah,
feel it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you do a couple exercises with your feet. This is to test dexterity and flexibility, okay?
Okay.
Bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Is that easy to do or hard to do?
Easy.
Easy. Relax. Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort.
Easy.
Okay, easy, relax. Wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel any pain, discomfort, cramping. Just wiggle for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel any pain, discomfort, cramping. Easy?
Easy, yeah.
All right, cool. Let's wrap it up. In terms of my approach, I came up to you. Actually, we were in the basketball court.
We were at the basketball.
I approached you and I said, hey, are you down to do an interview for my YouTube? How did you feel my approach was? It good? Was it bad? How did you feel about it?
Very good. I loved the conversation. It was very interesting.
Nice.
And easy talking to you,
Appreciate
even though I
that.
don't know you.
You don't know me, absolutely. In terms of like the questions I asked from start to finish, what did you feel about the questioning? Did it make sense to you? Do you see how it kind of connects? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yes. I see it. 100%. I think it's I definitely go with the learning back home. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
To see how I felt and how I reacted. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll ask you, something you can share with my channel. Maybe it's something that you learned in life. something that somebody shared with you, something that like you use on a day-to-day basis that helps you get through the day. Anything you can share with us?
Yes. Don't be afraid by failing, because failing is a part of life, which is so important.
Yep.
And people see failing as a bad thing, but it's not. It's actually the best that can happen to us, because through that we understand us better. We see our where have a weak spot. How can I train on in certain situation to get better at? So this is don't be afraid by failing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us. I know you're from Germany and you were like a little bit shy about like how you were going to sound. You sounded absolutely perfect. So we appreciate the conversation today.
Appreciate it.
We hope that you have a safe flight and everything.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.